Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I wanted to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy and an incredible occurrence that is happening during his historic run to be president of the United States of America and to really change where we are at in American history, right? We have this incredibly young, vibrant person who's saying, I'm going to go against everything we've been doing, right? What if American leadership was vibrant? What if America's leadership wasn't fundamentally bound to vapor rub and, you know, a mustiness, right? And I think we're a lot of people like me are really excited. I'm like, yes, I want my first millennial president. I don't want another 80-year-old president who is not going to be able to deliver, you know, just basic energy. Really, like this is not working, right? Like this is a failed experiment. We need to move past this, right? But during this time where he's running, there's this incredible thing that's happening, which is a cultural chaos. I think that's just the best way to explain it. And this chaoticness around the events that we are seeing in America, that is shocking, absolutely shocking, and really fundamentally changing how the world interacts, right? And right now it's dealing with Burning Man, right? So Burning Man's been going on for decades, I think now, and Burning Man is this truly unique American event, right? And what normally happens is literally tens of thousands of people, like I think the current count right now, so Burning Man is happening as we speak, and there's this bizarre event that is occurring, this a bizarre shape that modern Burning Man, right now, 2023 Burning Man, something incredible is happening at Burning Man. And we're going to get into it, but first, I think, so Burning Man is normally this massive burning of a man in effigy, right? And tens of thousands of super rich people go there, and generally what happens is there's a lot of music, there's a lot of dancing, and there's a lot of recreational substances, and then there's a lot of activities that come from people using those recreational substances, and it all happens in the desert, right? And it's one of the most privileged events you will see in America, right? Almost everybody there, massive privilege, right? It's a privileged party, the privileged party there, right? And what's really wild is we've flipped, and this is where Vivek is, and I want Vivek to start to grasp this and start to communicate it to people. So someone I care about, I was talking with them about climate change, huge subject, right? And they said, climate change, first of all, language is incredibly important, right? Like you need to have the right words, you need to speak to things in the right way. So climate change, and the person was like, climate change is a bad name, right? Nobody cares about climate change. What, it go up two points, down 4 points, who cares, right? Like it doesn't carry any urgency, right? And then, well, what about global warming? Nope, that's not right? Like global warming is not right. And we get in trouble when we use the term global warming because then huge cold fronts come in and people are freezing, right? And they're like, oh, I told you global warming wasn't correct, right? And then you get dinged there, right? But climate chaos is the right term. We are in a time of climate chaos. And now, with Burning Man, you could see we're in a time of cultural chaos, right? So what should be happening by scheduling at Burning Man, right? A man burning in effigy and all this music and chaos and wild abandon that is fueled by recreational substances. That's happening in the IRL. That's happening in the real world, right? And we look at our culture and we're like, what is happening? People are so horribly upset by their life circumstance and are like, holy cows, we voted in an 80-year-old Democrat, and now we're on the brink of World War III, and I have no idea if I'll be able to buy eggs this week. And they're upset, and they're turning to recreational substances, and they're turning to music, and and all kinds of things that would only happen connected to recreational substance use are happening in our regular streets, right? There are shanty towns that are being connected to our actual towns all over the country. Tens of thousands of people living in where they're not safe, out in the open, almost like a wasteland, right? And so when you look at our regular world, it looks like what Burning Man looks like on any given day, right? On any given regular Burning Man, our real world looks like the Burning Man wasteland. But then here's the cultural chaos that Vivek needs to speak to and needs to explain and needs to highlight. This is where we've arrived, people. Look at what we're dealing with, right? And what's really wild is, so while the real world, our IRL, looks like Burning Man used to look like on a regular schedule, right, of Burning Man, now Burning Man, everyone there it's silent. There's no music, right? And there's no music. The recreational substance has been tuned way down, right? And people aren't using, and they're preparing, and they're working together, and they're being extremely cautious, and everything is tamped down, and they're not burning. They're not burning, right? Why? Because there was a massive deluge of rain that turned this dusty playa into a mud pit, right? And what's wild is we're in the upside down world, right? People who are at Burning Man are being very sober and silent and organized and working together carefully to get through a challenge. And in the regular world, you have music and chaos and recreational substances and gatherings that look like a wasteland. It's upside down. Burning Man is happening in the IRL. And in the IRL this year, Burning Man is not happening, right? It looks like, a gathering of Eagle Scouts, right? Just very humble, cautious, quiet, silent, sober activity, right? To protect the material they have there and protect the people they have there. And so it's all upside down, right? And this is what Vivek needs to speak to. He needs to explain. In 3 short years, the Democrats have said to the entire world, do not let us anywhere near leadership for 20 years, for 2 decades. Punish us for the brutal activity that we have put this nation through, right? And we have arrived in an upside down world. And Vivek needs to invert the conversation, right? And get people to focus on things that matter, right? And to understand this incredibly dark world in a better way, in a meaningful way. It's truly incredible. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and center traffic, please consider subscribing and have a wonderful millennium.